Welcome back to class, and this is Module 13, Public Administration, and this week we are focusing on administrative ethics. And so what we're going to have to do this week is we're going to carry on, of course, a discussion from last week. So you'll be responding to your classmates' discussion on discussion 11. We'll read chapter 12 of the text. We'll have a quiz, and we're going to use the My Lai massacre and some videos with Phil Zimbardo as our case for the class. And so, of course, we'll have two initial posts that due this week. There'll be no Dropbox, but I will get into what we're going to have to start working on for a couple of things to wrap the class up. As you can see, we've gotten to towards the ends of the book. And so I wanted to really congratulate you on getting through the book so far. I know it's very difficult reading, and I've had a prior student say it kind of read like a instruction manual. However, for public administration, I do assure you this is a much better book than some of the alternatives that get really, really historical and are hard to really relate to current events. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch a few videos and do some readings on the My Lai massacre. And this is from Vietnam. And we're going to look at two opposing two sides of the same coin. What kind of people we have working in bureaucracy. So in this, it has people who are doing some horrible things, but there's also what Zimbardo calls a hero effect being demonstrated. So I'll go through the videos, the extra material we have to look at that you will need for your discussion. The first is a video from the History Channel, and this gets into a general overview of the My Lai massacre. So of course you just hit the play button and you watch the video from there. And then there's an extra reading about Hugh Thompson, who is a pilot who, as you read this, you'll find more information on him, but he is very interesting, and what he did was a great example of bravery. And so read about Hugh Thompson. And then I will move this up. This is actually some more information on. Actually, I'll leave this where it is. Then there's a couple of videos we have that I used to have just the news footage from this video to talk about the My Lai massacre, but what we're using here are videos that are from a moral courage presentation from the U.S. Naval Academy. And actually, if you are interested in this, what you can do is, as you watch it, you can click on the YouTube link, and there's more related videos on ethics through the Stockdale Center, which is through the U.S. Naval Academy. And look at all these there's a bunch of other videos that are discussing ethics, actually. So there's extra material for you if you're interested in it. But here is a video with Hugh Thompson, and about 5 minutes into this, they get to the newsreel that I used to just use for this class that has been taken down, but U.S. Naval Academy actually preserved it in this video. There's two parts to this, and so I want you to watch both parts. That gets a little bit into the background to him, and then the second part is the tail end of that video. Then after that, we have an obituary. This is where Mr. Thompson passed away. And I want you to listen to this podcast as well. It gets a little bit into some of the things that happened to him after doing what he did. And in this case, he confronted some pretty bad things that happened and stood up for what's right. And it gets into that. And then lastly, I have a photo gallery. This has some graphic images, but it gets into some pictures of what happened in My Lai. And in that, you will see, that's totally up to you if you want to watch that, but you will see some of the public photos that were released from My Lai, as well as some pictures from My Lai now. So there's some pictures from the present day. What you're going to do is we're going to take that information. I want you to really pay attention to it, and you're going to watch. There's a couple of videos from Phil Zimbardo on the hero effect and the Lucifer effect. And a lot of you remember Phil Zimbardo from psychology courses, and often it's pointed out that Zimbardo studies evil, but I would really differ with that. I think it's more accurate to say that Phil Zimbardo studies situational psychology, and so he looks at what makes someone good as well. So he looks at the other side of the coin from evil. He also looks at the hero effect. What makes somebody good. So what you're going to do is you're going to watch these, and you're going to use the Zimbardo discussion to analyze this case of the My Lai massacre. And so in doing this, I'll have two questions that I want you to answer. And so you're going to discuss how Dr. Zimbardo might explain the unethical actions found in the case of the My Lai massacre. And then the second question is the heroic actions. So I want you to discuss how Zimbardo might explain the heroic actions found at the case of the My Lai massacre. Again, you're just looking for two stories there. And you're using situational psychology to try to explain this horrible event. So in doing this, again, I wanted to thank you for hard work this semester. I know you're almost through the textbook, which means at the end of the semester, I think you're going to have a lot less stress from this class as you do from some other classes. However, there's still a couple things left to do. And so I want you to have all 5 parts of your administrative problem thing done. And then what we'll do is we'll stitch those together. And I will put directions up for that next week. I also want you to search on your own for an article or a news story or a video that looks at public administration, anything that we covered in this class so far, or something that maybe you think that would be interesting to discuss, and find that article. And I will have a couple of things for you to do with that moving on into the semester. So this is the time when you might want to open a newspaper or go to a news feed. You could find a lot of public administration discussions and stories just on the news feed on your phone, or put the news on or listen to NPR or something and find a story that you find interesting that can be a teaching point of public administration. So what you're going to do is you're going to find a story that you can make a case with. And next week I will go ahead and discuss what we'll do with that. But this week should be easy. You just have the quiz, you have the discussion, and you have these videos and movies to watch here, videos and readings to do. So if you have any questions, make sure, and I will get back to you. Thank you.